So you're an entrepreneur and you also have ADHD. And as an entrepreneur, you're probably still doing a lot of the main activities in your business, like marketing, sales, and possibly bookkeeping. Now, bookkeeping is often seen as something that requires a lot of organization, maybe some competency around handling numbers. And I'm here to tell you that while those things are true, you can still manage bookkeeping even if you have ADHD and you might think of yourself as someone who's not organized. That's okay. There are a few things you could do to make the process a bit smoother. And in this video, I'm going to give you 10 tips to make bookkeeping feel smoother when you're also struggling with ADHD and just feeling like you're not quite on top of things in general. So, the first tip I want to give you is that you need to recreate the story in your mind. And what I mean by that is that you want to take whatever thoughts you have about bookkeeping, maybe that it's scary, anxiety inducing, that it's drudgery, that you're not going to be good at it. I want you to take that story, push it aside, and come up with a new story. Tell yourself a different story where instead this is a game and you're on a little quest to put your transactions into the right categories so that you can learn more information about your business. And when you get it all done, you get a look at your profit and loss statement for the month. And each month you can compare month to month how you're doing. So instead of thinking of it as something scary, instead it's a game. You can start seeing if you're doing better as a business. And you get to go about the whole process more in the mind of a quest rather than having to do some scary drudgery work. The second tip I have for you, and this one comes from Atomic Habits by James Clear, is that it's a good idea to take a habit that you're already used to doing and then introducing a new habit at that same time or in the same place. So, for instance, with bookkeeping, let's say you have a weekly habit of going over your goals, or maybe a weekly habit of checking your bank accounts. With that habit, maybe before it or right after it, introduce the concept that you'll also now be doing your bookkeeping. And when you stay on top of it, it's going to take far less time. So you can easily take your quick 15-minute habit of checking your accounts and then adding a 15-minute habit of doing your bookkeeping right after it. So that second tip is to stack new habits on top of the ones you already have. So number 3, take advantage of reminders that you actually respond to. So let's say you're trying to create this routine of doing bookkeeping, and one way that you respond really well to remembering to do things is by setting timers. You could set a timer on your phone, for instance, either daily or weekly to remind you to do your bookkeeping. Other folks like myself, I like to use the software service Todoist. I put all my tasks in there during the week, and that's going to be the best way for me to remember when I'm planning on doing my bookkeeping is to give it a due date. For other folks, it could be their calendar. Tip number 4 is that don't let yourself stay stuck too long. So what I mean by this is that you're going to be doing your bookkeeping, and there will eventually come a point where you don't know how to categorize something, or you're running across a feature in QuickBooks that you're not familiar with. My recommendation to you is instead of trying to figure it out yourself and spending 15-20 minutes just trying to come up with a solution, go ask for help instead. And this could look like if you're in QuickBooks, you use their Intuit AI feature and ask a question. You could ask ChatGPT, you could ask Google, how do I categorize this thing, or how do I do XYZ? The whole point is don't stay stuck. It's so easy to get really captivated by a problem and just want to keep working on that problem until you can get the solution. I'm here to say that troubleshooting by searching for someone else's provided response is probably going to be a lot quicker than trying to navigate and figure it all on your own. So tip number 5 is make it fun. And this tip is going to be personal for you. For me, for instance, sometimes when I'm doing bookkeeping, I'll put on music from Disneyland rides just to make the atmosphere feel more fun. Another idea is to make a cup of tea or grab a coffee, or after you're done with bookkeeping, you can reward yourself with a drink or a candy, whatever you want, but basically involving some degree of excitement or comfort into the act of doing bookkeeping can help make it a less stressful task and one that you might actually look forward to doing instead. Tip number 6, I think this one is especially true for folks with ADHD, is that sometimes you just need to find a body double. I personally have done this for clients before, where I was basically hired to screen share with them while they paid their taxes. And they knew what they were doing. They were able to figure out what to do as they went. I was there for maybe a little bit of a help desk, but mostly just to be in their presence, to help them along. And something about having another human there assisting you can sometimes be the motivation or the sense of security and support to feel like you are able to move forward with the task. So if you have a partner, a friend, or a pet, maybe having someone with you while you're doing your bookkeeping could be one way to make it to move forward with doing the task. Tip number 7 is to do bookkeeping regularly. So some of the biggest projects I get to do as a bookkeeper, which I personally enjoy, but are usually coming from stressful situations, are these big bookkeeping cleanups. It could be a year, 2 years, 3 years of books that haven't been done, taxes that haven't been filed. Those are massive projects. They can take 10, 20, 30 hours to finish. These cleanup projects can take a ton of time. And I'm here to encourage you that maybe getting started is going to involve some cleanup, but when you're doing bookkeeping regularly, it can easily be accomplished in 10 minutes or less, especially if you're very good about doing your bookkeeping on a weekly basis. So, if you want to have bookkeeping be an easy, quick task, then do it regularly. Tip number 8 is hire help. There may get to a point where yes, it would make more sense financially for you to do it yourself. But if you're avoiding doing your books or you're not sure what you're doing is correct, then having someone else do it for you uh, might just be the right answer to have this completely off your plate so that you can go back to working on the activities in your business that actually generate income and can probably pay for the bookkeeper and more than to just try to begrudgingly do this thing that you don't want to do anymore. Or hiring help could look like getting someone who will consult with you, look over your books, tell you what looks right, what might be, what should probably be fixed, how to do it, how to use the software. And of course, this is the point where I get to say, I'm a bookkeeper. I'd be happy to help you with your books. I work with a lot of clients who have ADHD who are coming to bookkeeping with with a lot of trepidation. I like to think of myself as someone who has a lot of patience and pretty decent communication skills to make sure that it's a smooth and as comfortable of a process as possible. I'm also available for consulting if you just want someone to show you how to use your Wave software, QuickBooks, or look over what you've already done and where you might want to uh, approach parts of your bookkeeping differently. That I can help you with as well. So, yeah, whether it's me or someone else, don't be afraid to hire help as needed. And next, number 9 is to use a checklist. So, as you get used to your bookkeeping process, it might be a good idea to have a checklist on hand of what you do each time so that you always know what the next step is. So, it could be the first part, just opening up your QuickBooks, categorizing your transactions, checking over last month's profit and loss statement, reconciling accounts. So, do bookkeeping is a pretty big general task. If you could break that down into smaller steps, that might make it easier to one, get started, but two, get through the process quickly and methodically so that you're pretty much doing the same thing every time and you know what to expect. And lastly, tip number 10 is something that I picked up from graduate school. We used to say this to ourselves all the time. And the saying is, go for done, not perfect. I'd rather see my clients consistently do their bookkeeping and just get it done each week, even if there's a mistakes here or there, than to just avoid it altogether and have this big, scary cleanup that needs to be finished right around tax time. It is going to be cheaper to clean up if you have a couple mistakes versus having to go back and have someone do the whole thing for you. So sometimes just do your very best, look up what you don't know. If you can't get a quick answer, go for the best possible guess you got. And then you'll depend later on having an accountant or a bookkeeper check over your work for you. And that will be a lot cheaper and quicker to deal with versus just avoiding the issue altogether and out of fear of not getting it done right. So I hope you found at least one or two of these tips useful. Let me know which ones you currently use or you want to be using in the future. I hope science has shown us thus far that, there's no such thing as like good or bad. Like we all have very unique brains and ways of interacting with the world. So it's all about finding a system that works for you. And if you found anything useful in this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the Profit Logic YouTube channel for more tips, tricks on accounting, bookkeeping, QuickBooks, and I'd be happy to see you in the next video.